So the story goes out here where I'm at right now. There was a family, and I guess they had a couple of vehicles, off-road vehicles, and so they get out here to this particular location, and they see this thing in the street, and they're trying to figure out what it was, because it was, I guess, 7 feet tall or so. They said 6.5, 7 feet tall, and it was dark, all one color, and it was walking on the side of the road. But apparently it did not see them, and they saw it from a distance, but maybe it heard them coming because of their vehicles. So anyway, it darted off and went to a different direction. It went into the woods, into a campsite area, and it disappeared, and they couldn't find it, but they did find tracks. However, they didn't share the photos of the tracks. But so I'm just out here looking around. I came out here before trying to figure out if I'd be able to see it or not, you know. And of course, you're very fortunate, these people, to have seen them. If I may say that, I don't know if they exist or not, but I would love to be able to see one. I've been hearing a little something in the woods out here. I'm not sure what it is. Walking around. Could be a deer. But it'd be nice to know what it is. I think tomorrow I will get into the swamp somewhere and take the GoPro in there, check it out, see if I can't see something in it, in the swamps. If you've ever had sightings, whoever you might be, I would really appreciate it if, when this video is up, you leave comments. Let me know what you've seen and where, and I'd like to investigate it. Maybe just give me some idea of where you think it might be. If you've seen one, I'd like to know. That would be awesome. I'd appreciate it. I've lived in Florida my entire life, and I've had some type of encounters with it. I went camping with a stepbrother, his girlfriend, and another guy and his girlfriend, and of course they left me sitting at the campfire waiting for them to return. And the woods kind of remind me of this, except there was a swamp at the bottom, and it was really thick, just nothing but water and swamp. And we were up on a hill, and I was watching the campfire, I was feeding it, and well, this guy that was with my stepbrother, basically 6'5", 6'6", and so I was relieved to see him walk up and stand next to the fire. And as he did, he didn't say anything. I could see the silhouette, but I could not make out what it was. But it was all dark, you know, when I think back about it. And so I said, "Hey, Stanley, is that you?" And it didn't answer. And I said it several times. And eventually, Stanley came up after this thing walked away. It walked down into the swamps. And I knew it wasn't Stanley then, because it didn't have a flashlight and it walked through the dark. So I watched it walk away as far as I could. And I said, "Why didn't you answer me, Stanley? I mean, I was talking to you. You were standing right there on the other side of the fire, but you wouldn't say anything to me." And this thing was pretty tall. Stanley was tall. So he said, "Which way did it go?" And I said, "It went down into the swamp." And he goes, so he walks down there, I don't think he had a flashlight. I can't remember if he had a flashlight. I don't think he did. But he walks down there and he's looking for this, what I thought was a person. I thought was him. And he never found it. But this lane kind of reminds me of it a little bit. So that was one encounter that is unexplained because it was too dark to really see what it was. Hello everybody, it's Greg Jowers, and I have some stories to tell you concerning a guy I ran into today at another location, and I will post videos of that area, and it is the same area that somebody witnessed a Sasquatch Bigfoot in a ditch, thought it was a hog. So in the swamps right now, in the same area that somebody had seen the Sasquatch or Florida Skunk Ape in the ditch, and it stood up as 8 feet tall. And also just ran into another man out here who told me a few stories from some buddies. Thought it was a hog. I told you the story in the first of my series I'm going to be posting. Anyway, I'm in a completely different location. And the reason I'm here is because I ran into a hunter today, and he and I were discussing his buddy who was out on a john boat. He was fishing with his girlfriend, and all of a sudden they heard something crashing through the woods, and they're trying to figure out what it was. So this thing was tearing through the trees and the bushes, and it was just hell-bent on getting to this guy. But he started his john boat and he took off, went through this canal, dragging his anchor in his boat. So it scared the hell out of him. He's never had anything like that happen to him. He said his friend's not afraid of anything, but this situation scared him. I know you guys are not going to be able to hear something walking around over there. Could be a deer, could be a hog. Something is in the woods, and the crickets just stopped. You can definitely hear the motorcycles off in a distance. But I'd like to know what that is out there walking around. I've been in these woods about half a dozen times, and every time I come out here I can always sense something's not right, you know, something's off out here. And yeah, anyway, if there are any woods that I'm kind of concerned with, it would be these. Any kind of animal could live in here. I'm not afraid of bear, not afraid of bobcat, photographed panther. I'm not afraid of them. So I went out last night, and I'll post some of that thermal on this video as well, so everybody can see it. I ended up going to a location in Ocala that was near a river, and I was hoping to see any kind of wildlife that I could. This was close to 9 o'clock at night. I eventually walked back about a mile, and I didn't see anything at all, but the thermal really helps with the night vision. Let me know in the comments what you want to see. If you want to see me continually leaving the GoPro on so I can get video for you of the footage, or just pieces and parts of things, whatever it is, just let me know. And please, if anybody has any stories of a Sasquatch, skunk ape, Bigfoot. Put it in the comments. You can contact me, IM me or something. I'll contact you and we can talk about your story, and then I'll feature your story on my videos, and I'd really appreciate it because I'm just starting out and this is pretty new to me. So I'm not opposed to sharing your story. Now this part of the trail is starting to get interesting right here. It's not the same boring straight way. It's, you could tell the storm came through and broke all the trees down, etc. And they had to cut them. I did hear something earlier in the woods out there. I don't want to record it again. Just something moving around. Could be anything. This is pretty cool. I love Florida woods. Just so tropical. But with the dampness in a tropical setting, of course you get mosquitoes. They've been biting me. Put a little spray in my arms. Because it's a little damp. Now here's a creek. That's coming off the St. Johns River. Flows across this bridge. Florida has a lot of stuff like this. Mysterious looking, dark, but pretty cool. Interesting. This is where I'm told somebody saw something. Well, it is getting, what time is it? 6:35. And it's really getting dark. And as I'm looking at it, it looks to be an opossum, if you can see it right there. I'm sitting in the dark, and I have this little chair that I use for the woods, typically for wildlife photography, and I'm on this trail and I'm just hanging out waiting for something to happen with the thermal camera. And as I'm sitting there, I'm hearing this thing come through the woods, but it was kind of faint, and I knew it was a smaller animal. And it came out, didn't see me except for the last second. And when it did, it made a left right in front of me. I felt it. It almost knocked me off of the stool. As I keep looking around, I hear this noise, and the tree that was beside me, I keep looking up, and I eventually find the raccoon that had almost knocked me off of my little stool. And it's just staring at me. And I guess the hollering or the chirping it was making, like a turkey, was it saying it wanted to get down, and that I must have freaked it out. So I eventually left so it could climb down out of the tree. It was close to 9:30. So I'm looking at this cat, trying to figure out what type of cat it is as I scan the area. That's the trail down there. If it's a house cat or a bobcat or what, could be a wildcat.